Welcome everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. So I apologize for the parking issue, but there's still a silver Dodge Caravan. If anybody would like to have a silver Dodge Caravan, we need to have it moved. But if you've got it, if that's yours, we'll have to get it moved from that lot over there. So thank you all for coming. My name is Steve K. Wash, and welcome to the West Side Together Collaborative meeting. We want to thank the Bible Center and the Maker Center here for the hospitality that they're going to share with us today as far as hosting the meeting, and we're going to hear a little bit more about the center as we go through. As is our custom, we always go through and make introductions and tell us your name, because we have some new faces and some faces that have been here for a while, which is fantastic. But let's go ahead and give your name and the organization that you're with, and if there's anything you want to say about what you're doing, that'd be great as well. Jeff, I hate to do this to you, buddy, but we'll start with you.
My name is Jeff, Midian Leadership Project over across from Westside Middle School. Thank you,
Jeff. Jeff is good. His group at Midian is going to host the next meeting, so you're going to hear more about that later.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Octavia Cordon. I'm a West Side resident as well as a business owner, and I'm working closely with the West Side Neighborhood Association.
Great. Good, Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Thompson. I'm the Executive Director of Outreach at Bible Center Church, and very happy to work with Hampton here at the Maker Center. We do several outreach ministries. One of them that's been really helpful and very popular lately is called Fresh Start. And our state and the organizations within our community are good at rehousing people, but sometimes people move in with nothing. So we help them with pots and pans and dishes and shower curtains, and we do lots of other things too, but that's, and Hampton can talk about the Maker Center. So we're glad you're here today. We're happy to host.
Well, thank you for hosting.
And my name's Hampton Andrews. I'm the director here at the Maker Center, and we're just so excited that everyone's here. And I can't wait to hear about everyone's organization and more about what we're talking about today.
Good deal. Thank you all again for hosting, and Hampton's going to take some of you on tours if you'd like to see the rest of the facility at the end of the meeting, so I'm very excited about that. Why don't we go ahead and start back in the back then.
My name is Kurt Calloway. I'm the ambassador of KRT. Basically, I come to meetings, talk to people, and try to find out what's going on in the community, take it back to KRT, try to help improve our ridership.
Good deal. Thank you, Kurt. Let's pause for just a second. Everybody get a seat in here. There's 2 seats right there. One here. There's a seat, 2 seats up. A couple right there. Good deal. This is great to fill it up. This is the last time we had a record crowd, and we'll see where we are today when we get to the end of the day. So, okay. All right, Kurt, we left off with you, all right?
Good morning. My name is Todd Bullock. I'm with Crawford Holdings, LLC, and I'm a Westside resident as well.
Good deal. Welcome, Todd.
Hi, yes, my name is Lakeisha Barron Brown. I am a Westside resident as well. I am the founder and CEO of Hearts United Incorporated.
Good deal.
I'm Olivia Woody, live on the West Side, and I'm here with Keisha with Hearts United.
Bishop?
Bishop Robert Haley. I'm the pastor of Morrison Lake Light Center Church and also Bright Futures Now.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Shanika Smith. I'm a restorative practitioner, a West Side resident, mother, and part of many different organizations. Good morning.
Good morning, Devin Lopez with Unite Us.
Good morning. Good morning, I'm Kenyatta Pinkston with Unite Us as well.
Great.
I'm Sarah Porco. I'm just the West Side resident.
Just the West Side resident. Just the West Side resident. That's what we like.
That's what we here for.
I'm Pam Summers. I'm on the board of the West Side Neighborhood Association.
Marilyn McEwen, West Side homeowner, and on the board of the West Side Neighborhood Association and the Charleston Land Reuse Agency.
I am Kyra Bowen. I am with Create West Virginia and West Side Together, and also a West Side resident.
Chuck Overstreet with the West Side Neighborhood Association and City Council Ward 3, of which Sarah is one of my constituents. So.
Good deal. Thank you, John. So we'll go to just another West Side resident.
Yeah, West Side resident.
Just the West Side resident.
I'm Anna Lee. I'm with the Appalachia Service Project.
Todd Dorcas, Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation.
I'm Allison. I'm with Rebuilding Together Charleston.
Good. Your take, Susan.
I'm Susie Salisbury with Charleston Area Alliance and representing the West Side Initiative of the Kanawha Valley Council on Philanthropy.
Good morning, I'm Carolyn Sue Young. I was part of the initial outreach for the West Side Together team.
Great.
Good morning. My name is Denise Cosby. I'm a West Side resident and also a West Side Together participant.
Corey Zinn. I'm on the West Side Together communications team, working on the social media newsletter.
Yeah, let's go to the back table then.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Farr. I am on Charleston City Council. I'm also with Element Federal Credit Union, and we are opening a location on the west side, hopefully before the end of the year.
Okay, Matt.
Matt Sutton, I'm Chief of Staff here in the City of Charleston.
Jake Van Horn, Cabin Creek Health Systems.
Okay, Richard.
Richard Witherspoon, West Side resident, newly property owner as well as business owner. I started a small business here in Charleston, just registered here in the state and as well federal. I'm trying to, I come to this meeting to learn about different organizations. Hopefully I can join and get some knowledge and pass on to my organization. I'm starting a non-profit organization as well. So.
Great to have you, Richard.
Thank you.
I think Michelle offered maybe the workshop here and book around here, so I think it'd be worth your while. Ken?
Kenny Hale, I feel like I'm a cornerstone of the West Side. As many people's in here as probably all the different organizations I'm a part of, but I'm currently just, let's say, happy to be a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel.
Thank you for your service.
My name is Iris Siddickman. I'm the new harm reduction program coordinator at the Women's Health Center. Also a West Side resident. Thanks for having me.
Great.
Chad Webb, City of Charleston Planning Department.
Bob, let's go to your table here. Bob.
Bob Hardy, Executive Director, Charleston Economic Community Development Corporation.
James Ely, pastor New Life Fellowship, Missionary Baptist Church in on the Second Avenue Center.
Linda Ely, West Side resident.
Good deal.
I'm Teresa Brown. I'm a West Side resident and director of Polo Dunbar Second Avenue Center.
Great. Okay, let's go to the back then and we'll work our way up. How's that?
I'm Hank Walker. I'm on the Salvation Army Advisory Board.
Patty Tilley, Salvation Army Development Director, and with the Boys and Girls Club.
Great.
Kathy Palladino with Salvation Army. I'm the pastor of the Citadel Corps.
Great. Yeah, I don't know if you recall, but the Salvation Army hosted us last meeting. It was fantastic. So thank you all again for that. We look forward to your all's participation.
Margaret O'Neill with the United Way of Central West Virginia.
Carrie Cooper with United Way of Central West Virginia. Amber Hanna, I'm with Legal Aid. I'm a lawyer in the school program for Kanawha County, and we have a clinic over at Mary C. Snow during the school year.
Great.
Alex Harris, paralegal for Loyola School.
I'm Shamika Robinson. I actually am a mortgage loan originator for Community Works in West Virginia. I additionally own my own private rental car company. And I am a West Side resident. I forgot to say that last time.
Deanna Kenny, I'm West Side resident. Also, I do community events, organized events. And I'm also advocate against gun violence in the community.
My name is Mabry Davis. I'm a neighborhood rabble rouser.
That's enough from you. We're going to hear from Mabry. So we've been talking here shortly.
Hi everybody, my name is Tracy Jackson. I am a partner with the McGee Foundation. I've had the pleasure to facilitate this work and bring everybody together, and it's just super awesome to see all of these faces in the room and thinking about the power that's in this room and the service, the level of service and commitment to this community that's in this room. So just thank you all for being here, and thank you for what you do. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you for what you do, Tracy, as well. So a couple more. There's one, somebody else came in.
Hi.
Alice Lewis with the Charleston Area Alliance in West Virginia Parole.
Okay, thank you for coming in. And in the back.
Mary Jane Tucker with the McGee Foundation.
And I'm Steve K. Wash with the McGee Foundation, and I'm the one that that relies on Mary Jane to did I miss somebody?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm Reverend Roberta Smith from the Charleston Black Ministry Alliance, and I'm from the West Virginia Council of Churches.
Great, glad you're here. Like I said, this is probably a record crowd. I thought we had a huge attendance at the last meeting, which we did. A lot of new faces, a lot of faces that have been here since the beginning, which is fantastic. So once again, thank you all for coming. Again, I'm Steve Kawash. I'm with the McGee Foundation, and let me just kind of remind you of a couple of things that we're doing. The McGee Foundation is making an investment in our community. We're primarily related to the West Side. This is a community-driven project where we're looking not only at your all's organizations, but we're also getting input and have gotten input from the residents to mesh them together. And as we've told you before, and I'll tell you every time that I'm up here, we're in for the long haul. So we're not going anywhere. You're not getting rid of us. I'm a former West Side resident. I grew up on the West Side, and we're not going anywhere until we get this thing done and we get this thing up and running. So that's where we are. The approach, as you all know, you've heard this every time, but for those of you that are new, this is a collaborative and a participative approach. What we're doing is we're using your organizations and the citizens to define the what and the how of the work that we're doing. It's asset-based. All of you your organizations bring resources and networks to the table, and we've been using those and coordinating those and collaborating with you to make some projects. And because of that, we've had some short-term wins. We've had some projects that we've done last year. We're continuing to do those this year, both in the short term, and we're setting up a long-term strategy so that we can sustain this long into the future. As I mentioned, I'm with the McGee Foundation, and really our role is really to be the convener of all of you that are working on this and are passionate about improving the West Side. We're connecting the resources that your organizations bring to the residents' needs. We call that the supply and the demand formula that we always look at and trying to make sure everything's connected. And of course, we're continuing to be the coordinator of these meetings and making sure that we can continue this so that we have a long-term approach and that we're going to continue this well into the future. And by the way, when I say we, I mean all of us. We are the we. Okay, so we've talked about this and you've seen this before, those of you who have been here before, but we have some shared impact and values that this group set up way back in the beginning when we first started meeting. And we're here because we want a healthy, thriving community on the West Side and to increase the opportunities for the families, the youth, the businesses. We want to make it a good place for everybody to live and work on the West Side, and we do that through the coordination of the partners that are working together in this room. This has been a collaborative, and we've put teamwork together with you all. Everybody was doing this for many, many years, and what the collaborative has been able to do, I believe, is to bring this together so that we can work together. You all are working with other organizations. It's been fantastic the way that it's come together. And I think part of that, or the big reason is that you've come to trust each other. I think these are organizations that have been here for a long time, and the trust that you all have developed is really what makes this thing work. Again, I mentioned before, this is community-driven. We did an outreach program last summer, and we've got some input, and we're going to talk a little bit about the results of that today. And then going into the future, we're talking about maybe in a couple years, maybe doing it again, but there'll be more on that later. And of course, it's results focused. That's how we're going to measure the success or the failure of this. Yep. Thank you. You're all right too. Okay, so let me just tell you about the support that our foundation has done. We're actually, when we talk about from the fall of 22 to 23, the end of this year, that's really what I call phase 2. Last year we set this thing up, we teed it up. Now we're in phase 2, and the McGee Foundation is going to continue with facilitation support and financial support. The facilitation support is what we're doing today, the collaborative meetings that we've set up, and we're going to continue to do that. And to develop these strategies, we've set up these implementation teams that are going to take what the residents told us and what they need, and we're going to put it into a strategy and going forward and helping them. And you're going to hear a lot more about that later on this morning. We're also going to provide financial support. This is where I like to say we put our money where our mouth is. The communications, as Corey Zinn had mentioned, we've got the What's Up newsletter. I hope everybody has seen that, and we're going to continue to have that. You'll hear more about that in just a second. We did some short-term projects last year that we funded, which were fantastic, and we're going to continue to do those this year with our partners. We'll hear a little bit more about that. And then we're looking at additional funders. We realize that there's only 2 or 3 or 4 of us now, organizations that are putting in the funds. We really want to expand that, because if we're really going to have an impact in the future, we really need to expand that down the road. And then finally, and we've talked briefly about this, but in order for us to sustain and to be the organization that we want to be, to make this go long into the future, long beyond everybody sitting in this room, we really have to establish a fund of some kind that really runs this organization formally so that we can continue the funding, continue the work, and continue the communications and everything that we are doing. So with that, that's all I have. I'm going to turn this over to Mavry to talk a little bit about the agenda, and we'll get the meeting started. But we have a couple more folks who come in. Why don't you? I'm sorry, we've already done introductions. We're going to put you on the spot. But why don't you get your name and the organization you're with?
Hello, my name is Stacy Kay. I'll stand up. I see a lot of familiar faces in here. I am the co-director of SOAR WV. We are a local nonprofit organization that does a lot of mutual aid work in the community with people whose lives have been impacted by the failed policies of the war on drugs. So if you guys want to talk more about that, that's me. We also organize we are about to host a Free Naloxone Day in September, and if you've heard about it, it's called Save a Life Day, but it should be called Free Naloxone Day. It started here in Kanawha County, it grew to a statewide event, and now it is going regional with the help and direction of my colleague Iris over here. So, nice to meet you. Thanks for letting me barge in late.
Great. Well, welcome. That's fine. You brought your partner there with you?
This is my nephew, Cyrus, and he is visiting from Nicholas County.
Great.
Say
Welcome.
Welcome. And before I start, I'm going to just go ahead and let Yvonne come in and introduce herself.
There you go.
Welcome. When you on the spot, Miss Yvonne.
Hello, how you doing, huh?
Can you introduce yourself and your organization?
Hi, how you guys doing? Hi, everybody. My name is Yvonne. My name is Dr. Yvonne Lee Long.
That's right.
I'm Dr. Yvonne Lee Long. I am currently a therapist with Keep Your Faith Foundation. I actually work as a CIS worker for Kanawha County Schools. But I'm actually the neighbor here because I just bought the building next door, and I'm in negotiation for the building next door to that because I'm trying to get in a skate rink. And the building next door is your first selfie museum in West Virginia, which will be opening up 4th of July weekend. And then I also have a case management. I'm on my September case management where I work with age and disabled waivers. So I employ social workers, and we work with age and disabled waivers. So I am the neighbor here, and I've seen all these cars, and I'm trying to negotiate changing the cars around for you guys. And let them know that they can park on my property and everything. Thank you. And then she said, well, there's a meeting over here that I need to attend. And so here I am, I'm attending. And so they kicked me off of the lawn across the street, and I pulled on her line, and she came out and said, hey, what's going on? Yeah.
All right. Well, wonderful introductions. Thank you, Steve, for that great background. Again, my name is Mavry Davis. I'm also one of the facilitators. So today, we're going to go over our agenda. It looks short, but we're going to go a little bit deep in some of these areas. So the first part, we're going to share, right, what's happening. We want some of you all to... We don't got time for all of y'all to share because we'll be here for about a week, but it's okay. That's a good thing. We'll have some updates from our partners. We're going to do the Best of the West Award. Okay, that's something that we're an ongoing thing. We're going to be passing that every quarter. We're going to have a community spotlight. Ms. Jennifer Farr is going to tell us about the Accelerate West Virginia program. Not right now, Jennifer. Just giving an outline. Second part of today is we're gonna do some working together, right? So we're gonna hear about what's up West Side and the communication things from Corey, connecting with residents. We're gonna hear about some of the implementation team progress and next steps and coordinated funding. Steve's gonna come back up and talk about the coordinated funding. And the last thing we're gonna do we can't leave any meeting without identifying next steps, a next meeting date, and some action items. And also, I want to remind you guys to please stay after the meeting for lunch and some good conversation. And also, there's bathrooms to your left if anybody has to use the restroom. All right? So, guess we will just get right to it, right? So, partner shares. So for this part, we want to hear something good that happened recently. I'll start first, right? Something good that happened recently. We were able to take our organization, New Economy Works, West Virginia. We were able to take 5 Charleston residents to Las Vegas to the National Conference on Black Cooperative Agenda. Got to learn some really cool things about how they're doing development and communities that are very similar to Charleston, West Virginia, and Vegas, so that was cool. Something I'm excited about. We got a co-op academy coming up this summer, so folks can come to either start a business or convert an existing business using co-op models. So that's coming up, so we're excited about that. A challenge or issue that I might be facing, capacity. There ain't enough Maverys around, and I need a couple more of me, or something like that, or a couple more of you, So capacity is a challenge, but that's also something we're working actively to address through this collaborative, right? One of the reasons I'm able to have those updates and announcements is because this collaborative has been helping with Mavery's capacity, right? And opportunities for partners to support the work, tell somebody about the Co-op Academy and tell them to holler at Mavery so they can get their business and take it to a next level. All right, so anybody else want to share? Don't make me call on somebody. Any partners want to share? Who you pointing at?
Carolyn.
Come on, Carolyn.
So in lieu of us, Corey, and this whole work actually putting the newsletter together, and I started delivering the spring issue with Corey. And I went to family care for the first time, and they were very excited about becoming a part of this collaborative. I think it was a little too soon for them to maybe get here today. But what has really happened even more than that is that they have accepted me to come in and talk with their MAT program about gardening. And if you know me, and if you don't know me, you may want to know me for gardening. I love to garden. If you have any places, spaces, people that want to do that, I'm very eager to get that rolling in our community. So that was very exciting.
Okay. All right, anybody else want to share?
I can say something.
Let's go, Shay.
So I actually established a nonprofit to kind of work in tandem with my for-profit, which I'm excited about because we're actually in the works of trying to get a 12-passenger, 15-passenger van, and our goal is to be able to provide non-emergency medical transport and also after-school extracurricular activities for free or subsidized. Is what we're hoping to do is actually get with DHHR and get it subsidized, so that a lot of these children who can't go out of state to their championships and different things like that, and coaches kind of got to hustle to try to get them there, we're hoping to be that agency that people can turn to when they need their transportation needs met and are struggling to be able to do that. So it's called Love 'Em, is what it's called. Actually, the full name is Love Empathy, but it's AKA Love 'Em, and so we're hoping to just get these families moved. People need medical treatment in Cincinnati, Ohio, different places like that they need to be able to do that they're struggling to be able to get to, where they got to rent a car to get to, right? So we're hoping to try to fill those needs.
And I need that service to take people to conferences, right? Like, we need 14 passenger vans. It's hard to get them at Enterprise.
It's so hard. Yeah, right. It is. So we're hoping to be there.
You want to share?
I better share something real quick.
Let's go.
I'll stand up because I'm short. I may have discussed this at the last, we may have discussed it at the last meeting, but through the help of McGee, we got funding, recently got granting from the Greater Cornwall Valley Foundation to to get a trash project coordinator for the West Side Neighborhood Association with Ralph Miller. Ralph convened 4 listening sessions. They weren't well attended at all, sparsely, and I think we realized you might have to fry some chicken or something to get some people in. But we came up, even though it was very few people, we had department heads from the Public Works, Sanitation Department, the Building Commission, because a lot of people want to also talk about dilapidated buildings. But a lot came out of it, and what I found was that as a council member, the same problems are the ones people call me about, for instance, Sarah. So it was very fruitful. We used a lot of the information from you guys who went around and did the West Side Together information. We used a lot of that data. As well, we were able to hire Dr. Cordon, as our part-time coordinator, so that we can build up the West Side Neighborhood Association and build up our board, have some trainings to interact with the community. She's done several things. She's in a lot of things, so she takes information everywhere. Recently, she was at a listening session for the library for elderly folks. We had a lot of. She's at the trash cleanup. Took a lot of information, so we were able to gather a lot from that, and from some of the information we got actually from the early data that you guys went around and talked about was some safety issues, things like, and a lot of folks do want to be involved, and we're trying to connect with them, and we met with Tracy and Mary recently, and we kind of brainstormed as to what the West Side Neighborhood Association can really be going forward. Can we be more involved? Are we, a place that people can actually disseminate information? That we can, that we can play a greater role with some of these, with the issues of the community. And so, Tracy, I'm reading some of this because Tracy, she covers a lot in a little bit of time. So we're working to try to serve maybe as a hub for resident engagement, attracting, coordinating volunteers, doing more advocacy and projects to improve the West Side, more talk about our funding, staffing, and board development, and strategic planning, things like that. So just going forward, we just look for West Side Neighborhood Association to play a more active role.
Okay. I want to hear from a couple more. We still got time for a couple more. Jeff, what's going on at the media? No? Next time? Okay. What's up?
So Jake Manhorn, Cabin Creek Health Systems. We've recently started a renovation at 303 Ohio Avenue. It's going to be a 22,000 square foot comprehensive medical center associated to our organization. Happy to talk more about that with anybody, but we're just really excited to be kind of coming to this community, and hopefully we can hear from you all about how to better utilize that space and better provide services to residents. So if anybody wants to chat about it, just let me know.
There'll be time after this meeting to chat about it. One more. Back here.
I'm Patty with the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. Just something good happened recently. Our club is at full capacity on the west side for the summer program, so we're super excited about that. We're also super excited to send 36 of our West Side kids to camp for a week in Fredericksburg, Virginia, at the Salvation Army Camp for Rappahannock. And those kids are super excited about going. They're ready to go now.
I bet their parents ready for them to go now.
Mom and Dad are ready for them to go too. An opportunity for our community partners is during the summer they have a Readers or Leaders program where they have people from the community come in and read books to the kids. It also exposes the kids to other avenues for future careers. Gives them an opportunity to see something that people from their community are doing in their neighborhood. So if you want to read to the kids for the summer, just come in and read a book. Get with me afterwards. I'll give you contact information. We'd love to have you come over.
All right. So let's give ourselves a hand for everybody that shared, everybody that didn't share. Right? I know there's way more in this room to be excited. Like the West Side is popping. It's a lot of good stuff going on here. And I'm blessed to actually be able to, it's my job to participate in all of it. So, that's crazy. But, I'm blessed to enjoy all of that with y'all. Now we go into some celebration. Best of the West Award. Last collaborative meeting, we recognized Reverend Ely, and he passed that recognition on to Miss Teresa Brown Edwards for all of her hard work. Come on down. You get an award. With this award, again, we want this to be community-based. We want it to be driven by the community, so as this award is passed to a community member, they then choose and pass it on to somebody else. And with this comes a $1,000 stipend that the recipient is allowed to use however they see fit to spread joy in their own lives, in the community life, however they want it, no strings attached. No strings attached. There you go, Miss Teresa.
Why did Reverend Ely nominate Teresa?
Yes, that's a good question.
Tell us why.
After spending about 28 years in the military and away from Charleston, I came back home to take care of my mom. And my house is located right behind the 2nd Avenue Center. And one day I was putting stuff in the garage, and they were cussing so terribly over at the 2nd Avenue Center. So then I went to church, and I said, we need to do something about that. And so Teresa, she then said, well, we used to own the center, but now it's the headquarters central for the drug trafficking here in Charleston. And so I said, well, now if you used to own it, did you sell it to them? Did you give it to them? No, we didn't. In that case, then it's still yours. Let's go take it back. And so we mounted up the young people, and we went and we did just that. And we moved the drug trafficking from where it was on 2nd Avenue to other places. Yeah, sorry about that. Teresa, she'd been at the center. She grew up in the center and all. And so the city gave us the center. And once they gave it to us, then she became the director. And since then, we put literally a couple of thousand kids through there, and they've had gone on to make successful careers in high school, college, and all. And the rest of the story she can tell you.
I started working at 2nd Avenue straight out of high school. I was offered the job at 2nd Avenue with the Parks and Recreation straight out of high school. So I went straight, as soon as I graduated, I went straight to work for the city. And I've been there since 1988. Since 2000, unpaid. I do it completely volunteer. Everybody that I have that's at the center that works with me, everyone is a volunteer. We have over 50 to 60 people that volunteers on different projects. We have food committee, we have a tutoring committee, we have transportation committee, we have a field trip committee, we have like a bunch of different people from all over the West Side and other areas that has put their love into these kids on the West Side, and we do it all from the heart. And
thank you. All right, and then we have another Best of the West Award winner. A twofer. So I'd like to ask Pam Summers to come up here and tell us about the next recipient. Because it's not Pam.
Those who know me know that I get off in left field and I talk about on and on as long as you'll stand in front of me. So I brought a cheat sheet. I'd never sit down. About 6 years ago, it was suggested that I go to a West Side Neighborhood Association meeting, excuse me, due to my concern regarding all the trash on the West Side. Since that time, I've helped organize cleanups, and now that Mayor Goodwin is in office, the West Side's fortunate that the cleanups are on a larger scale with the help of the city of Charleston. I have a friend on the West Side that was quick to say that she would participate. She and her then 2-year-old have participated every year in the cleanup since then. My friend and her husband bought their house on the west side in 2016. They basically gutted it and redid everything. They take a great amount of pride in their home. There's ongoing trash in the alley behind their house. Sometimes it is strewn from one end of the alley to the other. After a while, the city was able to board up a small garage in that alley that was used by addicts to do drugs and sometimes to sleep in. I used to have pictures of the inside. It was like nothing I had ever seen. Every day my friend must check the alley for needles or people sleeping nearby before she can allow her children to play outside. On one of her almost daily alley checks, she found 26 needles in the alley. Once her dog got into some heroin in the alley, and as you can tell, it's close to my heart. Once her dog got in some heroin in the alley and had to be given Narcan twice by the vet. Mike and Sarah Porco go way above what any resident in any neighborhood should have to do. I'm so happy that she's getting recognized today and so honored to call her my friend.
Sarah Porco and family.
Thanks, Pam. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I have talked to the fire department about people getting trained for dogs. When I took my dog to the vet, I have never been so scared in my life. My 13-year-old held my dog. She had just gave birth. The puppies were 3 days old. Wow, she had the powder substance on her nose that we had no idea what she was in. I took her to the vet, screaming and crying, while I was consoled by an old lady whose dog was on his deathbed. But she consoled me, and it was terrible. But I appreciate it because I do check, and I am weary of other people's animals, and not only mine. But it is scary. It is scary. It just takes one touch, and you don't know. It could be your child, your animal. I mean, an older, you know what I mean? And everybody, it's terrible. It is terrible. But I have a 7-year-old that participates with me in cleaning up. So I told him, when you get older and you go to college, please put this on your resume because you have to put the work in. And he is adamant about, and it's insane that I've taught my children this, but we always look for needles first. And he's 7. He should never have to know about that. But I adopted him and his brother. They were my husband's nephews. Their mother was a drug addict. So they were born drug addicted. So I'm trying to break the cycle and trying to teach my children to not participate in that. And I just had one graduate from high school. So we're getting there. I have 6 children. So we got 2 that's done and 4 that's going. So we're just trying to get there, trying to pass on a home to my kids that they can have when I'm gone, something that they can be proud of. And I just want the West Side back the way it was when I was a kid, back when you could go play outside until, you know, the street lights were off. You could still play and not have to worry about if you're going to get shot down the street or if, you know, Tommy's going to step on a needle and we're going to have to Narcan him because brother has to carry Narcan in his backpack because his mom's a drug addict. I mean, that's the reality. And I'm trying to teach the kids because my house is a safe haven for teenagers. It's full all the time. I feed everybody's kids, no matter if we got it, if we don't. They always can come to my house, always can call me. Anybody's kid. I have a 17-year-old. His friends know. If they're in trouble, if they're anything, call me. I'm it. I'm the mom. I won't judge, none of that. I'll get you to where you need to go. And thank you, Pam. I'm going to kill you.
That's why we do this, you know, to recognize what's going on. Don't always have to be a non-profit or organization, you know, just be a person doing good things. And we want to recognize and lift that up as well. So appreciate this Best of the West award, and we're gonna keep it going. Now, next, we have Community Spotlight. Ms. Farr, Jennifer, we want to come up and tell us about the Accelerate West Virginia program?
Sure. I have notes as well, so I don't forget.
Okay. That's okay, I can add them if you need it.
Well, hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Farr. I'm with Element Federal Credit Union and Charleston City Council. So I think someone mentioned the listening sessions, and we had some small business and nonprofit listening sessions. There's just so much that goes on in the city of Charleston that sometimes I don't think everyone knows what's going on. So we wanted to have listening sessions so that we can just kind of see where we can fit in to help. And from this listening session, we found out about the Accelerate West Virginia program. What we found out was there's the Act Now Coalition. It's the Appalachian Climate Technologies Coalition, and it's led by the Coalfield Development Corporation. And the Coalfield Development Corporation was able to put together a packet that was awarded $62 million that's coming to the state of West Virginia. And part of that is going to the East End Lift Center, and I think that's like $15 or $16 million that's going to revitalize that particular community. So from that funding, the Accelerate West Virginia came about, and it's a long-term planning program that works with local leaders to set attainable economic resilience plans for local development, a complete pre-development for at least one sustainable green development project, and to revitalize the local business district and access to private federal funding. So the team, you have to assemble at least 7 members from the local community, and one has to be a city leader, which Matt Sutton, he jumped, he was really ready to say that he would jump in and do this. Ron Butlin from CURE, because there has to be someone from an EDA, I believe. Myself, Mavry, and Tracy. Craig Glover, who is with Family Care, he's the CEO of Family Care. Clint Arnold, that's with Kisra. Kendra, I cannot remember her last name, and she's, thank you. She's involved with the community. Josh McGrath, who is with, he's the broker of Better Homes and Garden. And then Paul Breedlove, who is with the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, as well as Robert Byers, who is with Wood Forest National Bank. Everyone just jumped in very readily because we only had less than a week to put this together. So I wrote the application, and we were one of 6 that were awarded, and we wrote it for the West Side specifically. Give a big thanks to all of the work that Mavry and Tracy put together with the pamphlet.
It was the collaborative.
It was, I'll tell you what we actually, what we sent in. It was the City of Charleston's 5-year consolidated plan that's through 2024, the Charleston Urban Renewal Authority's West Side Renewal Draft Plan from 2018, CURA's the Charleston Urban Renewal Economic Development Committee plan provided by Wild, Wonderful, and Healthy West Side from 2020, the West Side Together Resident Outreach Snapshot from 2022, and then Element Federal Credit Union became a CDFI, which is a Community Development Financial Institution. There's only 8 within the state of West Virginia, and Shamika's organization, Community Works, is another one. So we're very fortunate to have 2, well, actually there's 3 in the city of Charleston. What that does, it helps to provide funding for low-income designated areas, and all of West Virginia is a low-income designated area. So what we want to do is provide resources, funding, as much as we possibly can to infuse within those areas so that we can have small businesses that thrive. Many times, or just people within the community that have access to resources that they may not be able to get from other financial institutions. So we're very excited to open a location on the west side of Charleston, which is going to be on 4th Avenue. I always get it confused, but it's going to be a really nice space once it's complete, and we want to be able to somewhere in the community that people could walk to. It's directly across from where KRT is located, the Transit Authority. And when we had the selection committee to come for Accelerate West Virginia, we were able to walk from one location to the other. We didn't have to get into our cars. And Reverend Ely, Bishop Haley, what he is doing at his church, we actually took the selection committee there. He's gonna have a commercial kitchen on the 2nd floor, and just resources for the community. We also went to the grocery store that's gonna be, that Durrell is putting together. They were blown away by all the different things that we were able to walk to. So without the community opening their doors to say, hey, please come and look at this, or we'll be more than happy to help, it was really, really very beneficial. And we were one of 5 communities that were selected. So I'm very, very proud that we're gonna be able to put those resources here on the west side. And if you have any questions, feel free to stop and talk to me. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
That's great. Now I'm gonna pass it on to Corey to give us some updates on communication.
What's up, West Side?
What's up?
So we got another issue, third issue if you can believe it. For those of you that are new, the communications team, we create West Virginia. We got a grant from the McGee Foundation to essentially connect all of this together, to communicate it with residents, to continue to get out, input from the community about what the needs are and everything, and to keep connected with you all, to tap into what you're doing, what events are going on, what resources you have, to make sure nobody's missing anything. Because there's a lot of people that, hey, I need this, and you all have it, and they don't always know who to talk to or where to go. So I hope you're the first to see the summer edition. We're really excited about this issue because this was one of the first ones where it was really hard to, what do we put in here, because we had so much. So we really packed it full. The events on the back is completely full. We couldn't even put it all on. But today I want to work with you guys, get our hands wet a little bit, and some of you who weren't able to do some partner shares, I'm hoping that we've got some newsletters, some blank newsletters here in front and your table. Looks like this. Most of the newsletters have had this background in it. Now you can't really see the background on the new one, but we have Post-it notes and pens, and what we'd like you to do is take some time, and you all can talk to each other as you're doing it. But oh, sorry.
Can you talk about the distribution, Corey? I don't know if you did, or just like where it's gone and who gets it.
Yeah, so this is for West Side residents. This is your newsletter. It's going to the same this same block that we had. This isn't in the newsletter. This is actually, most tables should have one of these. Talking about the West Side Together outreach and all that. And the newsletter is going to all these homes the same homes that we were going to talk to with the outreach team. So it's going right to their doors. It's also, we have extras that we've been distributing to all these businesses here. I know it's probably hard to read, but there's a lot of them. Many of you have been getting them. And please reach out if you want some. We want to get you on the list and make sure everybody who wants it gets it. And you guys are part of the collaborative, and it's most important we get them to you guys. A good email, whatsup@westsidetogether.org. It's hard to forget, but if you ever need anything, if you're like, hey, I need to get the word out about something, or hey, I need a newsletter, or whatever, whatsup@westsidetogether.org. We'll talk more about that later, but I think that pretty much covers pretty much all around the west side, all the businesses in Elk City, and across. There's some staff in coffee shops and.
Comes out when? Comes out quarterly?
Comes out quarterly. So yeah, we did a winter one, spring, and now the summer. It should be hitting the businesses and mailboxes any day now. And yeah, today I really want to talk to you guys about what do you want to see in this thing. We're gonna have a planning meeting for next year. But until then, we just want to make sure everybody knows, this is your newsletter, and we want to put in it what you want to see. So we're going to work together, maybe 5 minutes or something. We're going to take 5 minutes. Anything that you think this belongs in the newsletter. I want to tell residents about this. I've got an event coming up. This community member is really cool. Does anybody know about them? Maybe there's something historical or a West Side memory that it's man, I used to love going to the roller rink or something, which I've heard a lot about. It's amazing sometimes you ask people what's the West Side mean to you? You really get some nostalgia eyes light up and stuff. So we're gonna take 5 minutes. It can be as basic as you want, just a little note. I'd love if you could include a phone number or email to follow up with in case we want to get some more information. We're going to try to pack as much as we can, but if it doesn't fit in the newsletter, we have the social media that we keep, the Facebook page, Westside Together. We also just started our Instagram, which is starting to roll out. So please follow Westside Together Facebook page and the Westside Together Instagram if you prefer. And we're also following all of you guys on your Facebook, so if you're posting it there, hopefully we're catching it. But always best to reach out directly to us, which is why we have the What's Up at westsidetogether.org. So let's take 5 minutes and just, write what you want to see in the newsletter, story, ideas, events, whatever's going on, and you guys can chat please share with your neighbors here at your table too, if you want to chat about it a little bit.
Yeah, there's post-it notes at the table, and if you're sitting outside of
I'll let you know in 5.
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
In case there's any confusion, put those post-it notes on the blank newsletter that's in front of you. And if there was anything, maybe you were chatting and you were like, "Oh, write this down. What are you, crazy? We need that in there." So encourage your neighbors to put it in or write it in there for them. So thank you for taking some time with that. And anytime you want something in there, message What's Up at westsidetogether.org. Also, important date to note, July 24th will be the cutoff for if you want events in the fall edition. So if you want an event to be in the fall edition, like on the back, and we don't need a lot of details, just like the name, the when and where, email to whatsup at westsidetogether.org by July 24th. Also, we should check if we have everyone's email, or that everyone's on. Yeah. Do we have sign-up sheet or something? In case we need to capture.
We'll create a sign-up sheet just in case most of y'all's emails, we probably have them. But if you feel like we don't have your email, you want to be kept in the loop, sign the sign-in sheet before you leave the building sometime today. I'm going to pass it to Tracy.
Yep.
On our next section.
Yeah, and I'll be pretty quick, but I wanted to remind everybody that we've got this incredible asset in the form of some contacts for residents. That who in the room was a part of the outreach team that did that work? So we got Stacy and Katie and Carolyn and Denise, and there were others. And these ladies were a part of a team that knocked 3,300 doors in the West Side last summer. They were able to connect with over 600 homes. Of those homes, one of the things that they asked folks is, would you like to be connected to West Side resources? And about 330, give or take, depending on which spreadsheet we download, said they wanted to be connected, right? So we've got addresses, we've got phone numbers, we've got information for these folks. And you, as folks who serve the West Side neighborhood, can add these addresses to your existing outreach list. You can add the emails to your existing list, right? You can mail these folks directly. You could door knock with them. You could target their services. So we've got that information. Our good friend Chad Webb at the city has been helping to process that data, which is phenomenal, having those resources. So we've been pulling those down. We've got a little bit of work to do to clean up the actual list. But if you would like those addresses, all we ask is that you complete, there's a resident snapshot
sheet on each one of these pages. On the back, there's a QR code. It's also up here. I will also send this to you, so if you don't want to do it today, but it's a real simple data sharing agreement that just says you promise not to solicit those folks with any sort of for-profit stuff, and that you're not going to do anything political directly in terms of campaign, right? That's not the spirit with which that information was collected. So it's just a simple data sharing agreement. And once you finish this, we will get you the list, right? And so you can have those addresses, because folks have reached out to me, how do I get in touch with all these residents? And you got it, right? So I just want to make sure you use this asset, because the whole intention of this wasn't just to collect some data and do a survey, right? It was to really start bridging that gap between folks on the west side and all of the great services and information that you all have, right? Like, that's where the whole newsletter came from. Folks said they don't, I don't know what's happening on the west side, right? And so directly from residents. And so connect with those folks. You can do this today. You can do this form today. Scan that QR code. You can do it on your phone. I'll also send it to you. But just thanks a lot to Chad for helping to pull that data and information and clean up those lists. If you ever work with data, I hate to even call it data because it's people and it's residents, but it's information and you got to clean it up and sort it out. So just big thanks to Chad for that support. So I wanted to make sure you guys didn't forget about this asset. So thanks for letting me. Who's next?
Updates.
Updates on the teams, yeah?
Yeah, updates. Next we got some updates on our implementation teams. One of which is the home repairs. So we've been working with the Appalachian Service Project, the Element, the MOECD, and others to reach out and figure out things for 240 households that expressed an interest or need in home repair. And so ASP is here to tell us a little bit of update on that.
Hey everybody, I said this earlier, but I'm Anna Lee with the Appalachia Service Project. See a lot of familiar faces. A lot of you in this room help make our program happen, whether you provide referrals or resources or funding. So just glad to be here. Honestly, very honored to sit in a room with so many cool people that I get to learn from too. Maverick mentioned this, but we are currently partnering with McGee and the Westside Together Collaborative to hopefully do some six two-story roofs this summer. We were one of the early action projects last year that got to utilize some of the funding to do some home repairs on the west side, and this year our goal was how can we take that a step further to increase that impact. And so our volunteer program started yesterday, so very busy. We got 7 weeks. We got about 600 volunteers coming to Charleston this year. Still a slow, steady build after COVID, but hey, we're here and we're excited, and we think that this is one way that we can partner to increase our impact moving forward is with these two-story roofs, so that then we can tee up projects for both ASP, but Rebuilding Together, Dave Parks with the city, whoever else has the capability to go in and do home repairs, to then move in with volunteer labor to do things underneath that two-story roof that's leaking. As far as collaboration efforts, just to throw it out there, if you know of anybody that's in need of home repair, please pass them our way. Or I guess a lot of them are probably on this list, but if they're not, if they missed that opportunity, we could still collect their information. And also, if you're interested in becoming a local volunteer out on a site for a day or a week, we'll gladly take you. So just let me know if that's something that you're interested in. And then lastly, in July, ASP is going to be having another event. We actually partner with Teresa and the Second Avenue Community Center most years to have just a celebration lunch. A couple of you have been on our tours before. Steve has come. So just wanted to throw that out there. We don't have our date pinned down just yet, but we're hoping to by the end of the week, just to celebrate some of the work that's happening. And so be on the lookout for that, but just wanted to give an update specifically about those roofs and where we're looking with that.
Well, and just to make the connection, the folks that are getting those roofs are the folks that Katie and Denise and Carolyn and Stacy, they were 6 of the homes that they connected with in this outreach, right? That's a list of 240. 6 is not 240, right? And a big part of what we're trying to do, and that Anna Lee
and our friends at MOECD and Rebuilding, Allison was here, and Element from a financing standpoint are trying to do is start to think about how do we start thinking about this at scale, right? Like, this is amazing, the work that Annalie and her team are doing are amazing, but there is a great need. And how do we start to really think about better coordinating resources? And so one of the things that's happening is we're using some of that outreach work, and there are folks from the outreach team who are gonna follow back up. We're gonna start with the homeowners. It's about half of that list, so about 100 and some on that list actually own their homes and need repairs. We're gonna start there, and the outreach team is gonna go deeper with them to try to better, are we talking about wheelchair ramps? Are we talking about rooms? Are we talking about windows? Are we talking about a house that needs to be torn down? And the city is, does so much of this work, and Dave Parks and is just incredible, and those folks, but there's a lot of restrictions, right, on that programming and who can apply and what they can get. And so it's a start, right, but just trying to get more coordinated and using really making, again, that direct connection with people who have needs and people who have services, and coordinating and thinking differently about those services and how they get there. So again, having sort of a long-term commitment to collaboration is key for making some of that kind of stuff work, right? Because there is not supply. There's a ton of demand, and there's not the supply right now. So, but that's not good enough, right? Like, how do we start to address that? So I'm super excited that we're at least able even to get to 6 homes and new roofs. No cost to the homeowner, pretty low barrier to entry. So just amazing stuff that we can follow up with this year. So stay tuned on this side of it.
I should have said this too. The 6 homes are for the 2-story roofs. We're still planning to do many other projects on the west side that are still, many of which are on this list that was done by the outreach team. And spot on with what Tracy said, we understand that 7 weeks out of a summer is not gonna get there. And ASP is also strategically looking at what it looks like to be a year-round partner here too.
Yeah, it's great work. And, none of this stuff, everything we're doing is meant to be ongoing. We ain't one and done and nothing in here, right? So, and we're not gonna let perfect be the enemy of good, right? Like, just because we can't do everything don't mean we ain't gonna do something. Yeah. And that's the spirit we wanna keep going with. Which brings me to the ownership and finance piece. Myself with New Economy Works, West Virginia, we provide some financial literacy education, financial empowerment, things with business development. Community Works does a lot of the same stuff with financial empowerment, credit repair, RCCR, Element. So we've been in conversations with these organizations to reach out to 83 households who have specifically expressed interest in purchasing property on the west side. We don't have anything big to report in this area other than we're actively working with Shamika and Denise to follow up directly with these residents to verify that what they indicated, what they need, is still what they need, and that the service providers that are involved can actually give them what they need. So we're still, it's still a work in progress, right? And I just found out today that they provide tax prep services here in this building. Didn't know that, right? So we're going to be working on this ownership and finance team to figure out how do we connect people to the actual services. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, but one of the project, matter of fact, I'll talk about it now. One of the projects or community events we were able to support this go around is the Jungle 3-on-3 basketball tournament, right? With Hearts United. That event draws hundreds and hundreds of West Side residents. So we're going to be talking with folks like Element, myself with New Economy Works and Community Works, how can we be at that event and go beyond just our table, right? And actually take some people one-on-one and like work with them on some of these areas that they expressed interest in, right? So that's what we're trying to do, right? Connect the residents, find ways to connect the residents to the supply that's out there.
Avery, I don't know that everybody can see on that last slide that you had, but there's 83 households. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Yeah, there's 83
are the ones from the outreach team as well. So
yeah, these are
first.
Everything is going back into that outreach list and really trying to dig deeper and you know, try to support people with what they ask for so that this goes beyond just another survey, right? We're going to keep saying that this is not like a survey. We're actually trying to help people. Chuck already kind of spoke about this. Another area of implementation is cleanup and safety. Many people on the west side expressed that trash cleanups are most pressing issue on their block and households. And there's, how many households was it, Chuck? But many households wanted to like join a block watch.
Over
right?
200.
Over 200 households.
I always say this, like there's a big difference between checking a box on a survey when Stacy's there in front of you asking you questions. But even if we got 20 of those folks activated and participating in the neighborhood as a start, right, is something that's amazing. So Chuck already talked about this, but really building up and out the capacity of the neighborhood association to do that work. One of the things that the outreach team found was that people want to get involved, but they don't know how. They don't know what their on-ramp is, right? And so if the West Side Neighborhood Association can become that clearinghouse for that kind of work, for getting people involved in cleanups, getting people involved in safety programs, those kinds of things, we think that's a pretty powerful thing to help support. So excited to do that work, really looking at actually even, have you ever had a full-time staff person or was it always volunteer?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, so looking to actually build out the capacity of the West Side Neighborhood Association to have a dedicated person to be able to sort some of this stuff out. So just super excited, and again, to Mabry's point, you know, it was very, very clear from the folks who helped organize this work, you know, in the beginning, the long-standing social service agencies, like, people in this neighborhood have been surveyed to death. You know, we don't need another survey that doesn't do anything. And so the intention with this work is never just about collecting data and making a report. What we're all here to do is bridge those connections between residents and the demand and the supply on the side of the social service agency. So, you know, and that's a pivot, that's a shift, right? And so again, it's gonna take a while, but I'm so excited to be coming back and going into this work with these organizations, so.
Yeah, so let's talk about some things that we were, like I said, we can't do everything, but through this collaborative, we're able to support 4 upcoming events. Bishop Haley had to step out. He was having some issues he needed to take care of. But a more excellent way is doing the community health fair. The West Side Community Health Fair is the second one. I don't know third one.
Yeah.
I don't know the details on it, so I'm not gonna say much more about it.
But it's gotten so big, he's moving it now from his space to Magic Island, right? So this is how you do it, right? Like you start with these little things and you don't stop, right? That's the other part, like just not stopping, and that he's gotten enough support now that it's this ongoing thing. And to Mabry's point, how do we then as a collaborative plug into that? Right? If these events, these folks who are doing these amazing things to bring people together, how do you as a collaborative connect where people are showing up? So be thinking about that and work with all of these folks who are doing this work to bring yourselves to those spaces.
Sir?
He's also met with KRT, and KRT is going to supply the transportation from the senior citizen home starting in Canal City. I think it's Nippet Terrace. And it's going to circle around until it's over and pick up everybody.
That's collaboration right there, man. That's collaboration. Miss Deanna, she went outside, so.
We'll come back together.
The gift project, did the Obie Henderson Community Service Awards. That event already passed. It was great. She made me cry. If y'all look at some of the video content come out, you might see lots of tears. I was crying that day. It was a great event. But what she has coming up next is Stop the Violence, a gun violence event. And she has flyers about that. It's June 24th. It's at 4 p.m. It's going to be at Magic Island. And here's Miss Deanna here. Want to say anything else about that gun violence event?
So, okay, because that's what I was just on call. So, there's been a lot of opposition, I guess, because, you know, people are worried about this event and me reaching out to the NRA and people outside of the We Don't Want Guns in the Community. But my thing is we need to educate. We don't have enough education on gun violence in our community. We are dealing with a plague that has been plaguing our country. But my initiative now is to educate because this is a gun carry state, and I'm not going to keep fighting people about having a gun because everybody should have a right to bear arms. So now I came up with an initiative to come together, unite against gun violence, addressing the violence in our community, which I'm sure will bring down the gun violence once we actually deal with the issues in our community. Whether it's drugs, whether it's homelessness, whether it's hunger, whatever it is that people are turning to violent things that's gonna bring a gun in their hands, those are the things that I'm hoping to address. So this event, I invited, like I said, the NRA, safety gun registration classes, concealed to carry, all this information is gonna be out there. You can sign up for classes if you would like to sign up for classes. They do them on Saturdays, I believe. And there's different people I'm gonna have out there for that. So this is just a little mission statement right here. So when you read this over, you get an idea of what this is all about. And it's a beginning, like I said, I'm just out there now with opposition. But I believe this is the best way to start the conversation. We cannot continue to keep burying kids. The summer's approaching, and we need to be more mindful about how we're addressing what's going on in our communities and our face. And we all know who is who in our communities and what's going on. So you don't have to be out there with no bullhorn, but you can sure enough bring some education to them. And that's what I'm hoping to do is put some pamphlets out there, some resources out there, some phone numbers out there, and we just share, talk, and communicate. And there's gonna be some kids out there. We have some performances from some churches. Some little kids is gonna do a little skit, so we can kind of see what gun violence is doing to our community, just to have a little idea. And I also want to say thank you to the McGee Foundation for helping with the Obie Henderson Community Award ceremony in March. It was beautiful. I just really appreciate all those that came out and supported that event. It was really, really nice.
You made Maverick cry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You knew that.
But it was really nice. And I just want to say thank you again for supporting this event because a lot of people do not want to talk about the gun violence in the community. And the McGee Foundation, Westside Together, has been very supportive with all my initiative. And I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. But I really hope you guys come out. We're going to have food, resources. Everything is free. You know, everything I do is free. And if you see
If folks from the
project,
collaborative want to have a presence, they can get in touch with you, correct?
yes, and if you want to set up a table or anything like that, please let me know. If you don't have one, the city is providing tables and chairs and tents, so I could also request a table to make sure, you know, you guys have one if you don't. But please reach out to me and let me know if there's anything you'd like to do resource-wise. And all of y'all can come up because everybody got something going on, but that's what the community needs, to know that we are out there, we hear them, we see them, and we actually going to do whatever it takes to help rebuild them. Because violence is, from drug overdoses to the gun violence, is hurt all through our community. And a lot of our youth are feeling hurt. So we want to try to bring some healing measures, some hope, and just some love to them. So please join us on the 24th. It starts at 4 o'clock.
Thank you, Deanna. We have flyers. Deanna has flyers here for people. Aspire, y'all want to say anything? No? Dr. Smith, you want to say something about your event coming up?
Well, my event has passed, which was the 3rd annual community celebration honoring the class of 2023. This is the 3rd year that the city of Charleston has been a great partner with us. as we come together, this event has twofold. For one, we celebrate families that have celebrating the graduation. This is a great milestone in our community, especially with the situations that a lot of families face. And secondly, since we're coming together and get some joy, we also think it's education. So we have organizations that come and provide information and post-secondary opportunities for our families. I raised my children on the west side, and now that my children are adults and I'm in high school, I'm learning a lot of things that parents just never know. And so I realized the lack of knowledge and the lack of connection to resources is what we actually need. So I thank Dr. Cordone, because we get together all the time and do things in our community that we know that we wish was there to support us, as far as like joy and education and support. These are things that parents and families need and our children need. So we thank the McGees for supporting us. We look forward to next year. I know in the fall we have our trunk or treat. And not only to give our candy, but it's also to give our resources and information. When you know your family's there, we go into the housing complexes and we go there to our families and bring things to them, and we hope more often that we can do more things than just seasonally, that we can be with our families and actually bring those spaces to them. So, and I didn't know there were so many organizations that's on the west side, because I lived over here for 12 years. So I would like this list of contacts and numbers and organizations in there.
Yeah, we got the collaborative.
All right, yeah, I definitely need to tap into it. Thank y'all ever so much, yes.
I should have mentioned that too. Along with all of the resident contact information, there is a running list of everybody in this room. And if you're new, let's get your contact info, and you just keep updating that. And there's a list of like real active collaborative members, phone numbers, and email addresses. So if you've got a new position, like our friend Hollis, right? Make sure that your information is updated, right? Like, we're not gonna hunt you down and do that, but just keep that updated. Oh, perfect, beautiful.
Yeah, we started the sign-in sheet.
Just so you got that, and then we also, you'll remember, and we'll talk about this at the end, we have this thing, so there's the collaborative, right, there's this real act, but everybody can't be at every meeting all the time, and you can't be at every meeting, right? And there's a lot of other folks in the community that are doing stuff, so there's also a running list of those folks, and about once or twice a year, we have this Westside Champions meetup, where it's more like a party, and everybody gets, everybody is invited, but this is the folks who are rolling up their sleeves doing that work. So, but that's all there. So use that information too, right? Like reach out to each other and connect with each other. That's what this is here for. And if we can continue to just kind of provide those backbone supports, like lists and information and data and communications, right, that help you connect and do your work better, that's what we're here to do. So. Thank you. And then, Lakeisha, real quick,
Yeah, I got, that meeting is September the 9th, the health fair.
The health fair is September 9th.
September the 9th, 11 o'clock to 4:30.
Great.
All right.
Thank
And
you.
we'll definitely send information out about it once Bishop gets into it. Ms. Lakeisha, you wanna talk about the jungle?
Yes.
And your nonprofit status.
Yes, thank you. So, as I stated, my name is Lakeisha Barron Brown. I'm the founder and president of Hearts United Incorporated, which we officially got our determination letter. We are now officially a 501c3. Very thankful for that. I have my vice president sitting with me as well, which is Olivia Woody. And as stated, we're here today to first talk about our we have many upcoming events, but the one that we are really here about today is our Jungle 303 basketball and community engagement event. We're really looking forward to that event. This is my second year doing the Jungle, but it's the third year in operation. And so we'll be at the 2nd Avenue Center. As I see, we have Miss Teresa, Reverend Ely and his wife that are here as well. So we're happy to bring these resources back into the West Side, there at the West Side Community Center. As we talk about basketball, I know that it's more than basketball. Families need more than that, but if that's what's going to bring the community there, then that's what we're planning to do. And very excited to talk about the fact that we will have we will have American Heart Association at the West Virginia chapter there, providing hands-only CPR to teach people the importance of learning how to do CPR. One will not get a certification, but it's about saving lives. So as we talk about the whole holistic aspect of saving lives, we will be there teaching people how to save lives in that context as well. So we're very excited, and we want to thank the McGee Foundation for having us here and understanding our purpose and our mission to give back to our community. And another part I want to add with the Jungle is that we will be working very heavily to, and heavily, I speak that word very literally, we will be working towards getting funding for the Second Avenue Center to have a playground there for our kids in this community. So I will be working very closely with Teresa and Pastor Ely to make sure that takes place. So thank you.
Awesome, awesome. And that's a great segue to bring Mr. K-Wash Steve back up here to talk about coordinating resources.
Thank you, everybody, and I'm a little tired of hearing about the McGee Foundation, because remember, we do some of these things, but there's also other funding sources that are a part of this. So I'm appreciative that you're thinking about us, but you have to think about these other groups as well. So let me just start, and this is what we have here. So the McGee Foundation did put in, or we've set aside $150,000 and a plus, and I'll tell you what the plus is in just a second, for these projects that we're doing in the community events and the roofs that Annalee was talking about. So we've got that ready to go and teed up as we have requests. We've been starting to disperse that money. We hope to have all of that completed, obviously, by the end of the year. We've added a little bit of additional money to there because, as Annalee mentioned, she has these 6 roofs. We want to make sure that they're all taken care of. So if for whatever reason the cost of that goes up a little bit, we're going to make sure that that gets covered and the funds are there to take care of that. As you know, last year and this year, we also partnered with the Kanawha Valley Council on Philanthropy, who has set aside some money for the West Side as well. And Susie, you want to mention what's going on with things? I know the deadline is coming up for that.
Yeah, certainly. So the Kanawha Valley Council on Philanthropy is a collaboration in and of itself of private, mostly private family foundations. McGee is a member of it, Claude Worthington Benenden Foundation is a member, the United Way is a member, Todd Left, Greater Kanawha Valley is a member. Oh, you're still there, Greater Kanawha Valley is
We
still
tried to get rid of him, but he wouldn't let him by the door and everything.
But, so we have this initiative where we're pulling together all of these private funding sources and have had a focus on the West Side for 8 years. I think almost 8 years, and we have invested $1 million, you guys. Yep. And it's for programs and projects just for West Side, period. You have to be a 501c3 to apply. You have to be in good standing. You need to be close to closing out previous grants if you're going to apply. And as Steve said, we did partner with this effort last year and directly funded the West Side Neighborhood Association, your organization. What else did we do? Oh gosh.
Jeff, did yours? I can't remember.
Yeah, Midian. Yeah, we funded Midian.
And Farmer.
I mean, as I heard, yeah. But as I heard everybody introducing themselves, I was like, well, I know that organization. I mean, we have funded Keep Your Faith for mental health. We have funded Lawyers in the School at Grandview. We were the ones that gave them the initial startup funds for that at Grandview. But just, we funded a new therapy dog for Mary C. Snow. I mean, it's just, $1 million we've invested. So we have again set aside funding. Thing is, hopefully you've heard about it, but the deadline is June the 19th at 4 p.m.
Can you extend it?
Sorry, we've had that out there for quite a while.
It has been out there.
And I realize that is also a federal holiday, but, you're welcome to submit early. There's no problems there. It's very simple. The Greater Kanawha Valley is our administrative support for this grant program and for the council. So we use their program, and they have a simplified application that they use for emergency grants. That's the one we had picked. So, folks, it's as simple can get in the grant application world. So, get it in Monday, June the 19th, 4 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me just say this about the council on the Kanawha Valley Council on Philanthropy. Not only have they worked with the initiatives that this group is putting out there, but they also fund a lot of other things on the West Side. It's not just us, and so there's other things, and I consider that part of the work that all of us are doing, whether it's on our list or somebody else's list. So thank you to them for doing that. This year we've also added to our list the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. I know everybody knows about that community foundation in Charleston. And Todd Dorcas takes care of a group that's on the west side. You want to talk to a little bit about what we've got set up there and what we've talked about doing once lunch passes by you there, Don?
That's a pretty good timing, Steve, on the heels of lunch coming in. But hey, I want to also shout out to the Maker Center. They've been a grantee of mine and the foundations for several years now, and the space we're in right now with the programs and opportunities for people on the west side, and not just the west side, but Charleston and other parts coming here and learning who they are, how to do things, and what they want to do things, and how they want to continue learning is very important, in addition to all of the other organizations here. So I really appreciate you guys. This is fabulous. It really represents, I think, the community, spirit of community. Foundation, the diversity in the room and who people are. And I don't think I've been to too many other meetings that have this, I think, general appeal and in terms of characterizations and the people that care about their community. So this is great stuff. I want to say, to piggyback on what Steve and the others have said this morning, is that, you know, we've partnered with KVCOP and McGee Foundation to put some dollars into the project application grants and to fund projects. They're not just projects, but funding in community, you know, things to do in their community. So this is really good stuff, and we're going to be looking at trying to continue that for another year into next year. And if you have any questions about the application process or technical aspect of the applications, and I heard somebody ask, or it was mentioned earlier, can we get an extension or whatever, but you know, probably not. But if you talk to your program officer or myself or Megan Simpson, we might be able to tell you, well, we can work with you, but we want to get your application. You want to get your applications in there. We want to see the fruits of the labor that sort of bloom from the projects, and you guys are doing some amazing things, so I can't say enough about the work that you do. There are some other grantees of mine in the room, ASD, the Maker Center, who else do I got in here? I know I'm missing a few, but again, it's good stuff, so
all right, thanks.
Keep on. We're gonna push this can down the road.
Appreciate that. And I remember last meeting, or a couple meetings ago, Todd said, I've got money to give out and there's nobody's asking for it. So that should never happen.
I want it. Start mine. All right. Okay, come talk to him. Talk to Chief.
So again, that's another resource. And then we've added a fourth one, this one to our side, is the Claude Worthington Benedum Foundation. We actually had a meeting with them a couple weeks ago. They've expressed an interest in helping this West Side Together group. They like what we're doing. This fits right up their alley as far as the funding that they do, whether it's support for sustainability or it's projects, if it's the right project that fits for it. So we've met with them. We're going to submit an application to them probably in the fall for monies that would come in probably next year if we can get them in. So I really think we're really building on this, and this is what I talked about initially, where we're building from other funding sources. And once we get this one, we'll go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. That's the plan, and that's how we build on this. So hopefully that's going to be a great opportunity for us there as well. Okay. And so the last slide, and I guess this is the last slide that is standing between you and lunch, is just some reminders. First of all, I want to thank you for being here today. Like I said, this was a record number. I know some folks had to leave, and we've added some more folks coming in here, but this is great. But please mark your calendars. Our fall collaborative meeting is going to be September the 12th from 10 to noon, and it's going to be at the Midian Leadership Center over on Park Avenue. Hopefully everybody knows where that is, but please note that, and there'll be reminders that go out. We're going to have another great meeting, I know, and we're going to recap, and this format I think works for everybody, where we share information and we talk about what's going on, so I think that's going to be a great meeting as well. And as Tracy mentioned, we always wrap up the year with sort of a fun type of gathering.
A party!
It's called Community Champions. It's fun, it's fellowship, it's gathering, there's food and beverages. So I think we'll all enjoy it, and it's in the evening, typically in the evening, so those of us that can't get here during the work hours, hopefully will be able to make it as well. So thank you once again for coming. Now, there is lunch in the next room. I think it's in there ready to go. Please feel free to stick around, grab it's a box lunch, bring it out here, and enjoy the fellowship and continue the conversation. And if you can't stay, grab a box lunch and take it with you.
Well, just, and Hampton, you want to just say a little bit more too about potentially giving some tours?
Yeah, absolutely can. The Maker Center has all kinds of things to offer. Normally this would be a computer lab, but we use it for yoga, we use it for volunteer income tax assistance, which by the way is free. We're out of tax season right now, but we did 136 returns this year for folks for free. So that'll come back around in January, and just call us and we can make you an appointment, or if you have clients or even family members that want to come. And then we've got a full wood shop in here. When you go in here to pick up your box lunch, look around in there. We've got a full wood shop, and it's open and available to the community. We've got some safety requirements, but we do all the training here in-house and it's free. And then upstairs we've got a full art studio, and we would love to share our space with you guys for a meeting or for a class or a birthday party or whatever it is that you might want to put on here. And we've got information about the center over here, and I can give you my information as well so we can connect.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And thank you again for hosting us. And there's sign-up sheets in the back.
Yeah, Maker Center, it says Maker Center on it, but they were kind enough to give us a quick sign-up sheet.
These two that folks started, so we can supplement it. So if you didn't sign up, just put it on that one.
Yeah, so essentially if you don't get updates about the collaborative meetings, for instance, definitely want to get your email so you can get updates on these.
Great. Okay, thank you once again for coming. Again, lunch is served, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.